Another episode of the Toxic Reality Show. I'm your host, Gordon Nathaniel, here with a glass of Bailey's to bless the festivities in the evening and the topic tonight. What we're here to talk about is 5 things modern women do to spoil good men. Again, thank you for stopping by. What's going on, Tashi man? Toxic Reality Show, Gordon Nathaniel, your host. We're going to get into some of the evening's festivities, and this all started with a post. Okay, here's the post by Female Problems. Women spoil men too. Act right and you'll see. So this is a loaded statement. Women spoil men too. So they do it as well. And the issue, once again, with the conditionals, if you act right, you'll see. Which then supposes that the person that you're with, the male, is not acting right. And more likely than not, he is not being spoiled, because if he were acting right, he would see. You understand the logic that we have there. Okay? And this is the problem. And yours truly responded, Gordon Nathaniel. I said, they sure do spoil a good man. And here we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about those 5 things that they do to spoil a man. Okay? So number 1, and again, thank you for stopping by, Mr. Tai Shi, or man, appreciate it, stopping by. And for everyone else who's slow to come in, or who will probably watch this tomorrow or later on during the week, thank you for the blessing. I also like to say I'm terribly excited that we have crossed a couple of plateaus. We are over 1,000 hours this year watch content, and also over 1,000 subscribers. So we're well on our way and on track to be monetized. And what does that mean? Does that mean a brother's getting rich? What I look at it as, I'm not joking with you. I feel, and I say this so many times, that I've been put in this place to be a blessing to somebody else. That there's some man, some woman out there that's going to hear the message and listen to the content and say, you know what, this may have saved my marriage. This may have saved me from suicide. This may save me from depression. Whatever it is, but listening to this and getting proper guidance on how you should handle yourself going forward. If you are currently in a relationship, to know the obstacles, the potential pitfalls, and what you could be facing. The topic tonight, I'm looking on the big screen ahead. 5 things modern women to spoil good men. Let's get into the first one. Trauma, drama. Modern women, and specifically when we're talking about single mothers, they come with a load of trauma. They come with, insecurities over the relationship. More likely than not, statistically, they were the ones to end the relationship. Again, we know the statistics. If women in the divorce rate are 80% are the initiators of divorce. If they have a college degree, it's 90%. So knowing that they are the initiators of family destruction, they come with that trauma and that baggage, because the accountability for many of them doesn't exist. It's always the man's fault. He did this. He's a loser. He's a deadbeat dad, but you picked him. But they come with all of this baggage and drama into a new relationship. And I get it, gentlemen. Many of these ladies look good. No lie. Right? But you got to be careful and make sure that you are not someone that she eventually spoils and ruins. And what they come with, number 1, is trauma drama. From the trauma of the relationship, whether the ex indeed did hit her, or whether she made it up. A lot of them like to say that they experienced domestic violence, and then when you question them, you find out dude threw a phone. He punched a wall. And in some states, if you punch a wall or you throw something, it's considered domestic violence. And if children are in the home, then it's also considered child abuse. But they loosely use the terminology, oh, I was a victim of domestic violence, when really and truly, the man never put his hands on you, except maybe he sexually spanked you on your butt while y'all were having some consensual sex together. That being said, they come loaded with trauma drama, and who knows? They say 1 in 4 women have experienced sexual rape or trauma as a child. So there could be baggage coming that you don't know about, right? And then the number of bodies and DNA that's inside of her until she finally got to you. So you become the therapist and the scapegoat for all the trauma in her life that's dumped on you to fix. And there's never truly trust in that space. Number 2, law enforcement and police. Law enforcement, that could be court. That could be the police being called on you because of her trauma, drama, and insecurities. She might call the police on you. Welfare checks. You're trying to check up on your children. She's mad that you've moved on. Or because of her wrath and anger, she wants to involve the court. And we'll get up in court and lie. Because what are the consequences? See, that's where the court system has failed. That many women have learned that it's okay just to go ahead and lie. What do you have to lose? What are they going to do? Lock you up? They're not going to lock up a mother. They'll lock up the father. So they know they can get away with practically anything. Right? Number 3. Financial liability. You see, the spoiling of a good man. Well, how is she an asset when everyone wants to travel? So here you are. You've progressed in life, you've become successful, or you're working and you're trying to get there. And she comes in and says, let's travel, I want to have fun. You know, what does Cyndi Lauper say? Girls just want to have fun. At the end of the day, girls just want to have fun. So they want to go on travel. They want to go to Dubai. All of these things are taking away from your purpose, your retirement at 60, 70. These thousands of dollars of trips and vacations when you could have very well just stayed local, jumped in a car, get a tent, do some kind of romantic Airbnb cabin. You have plenty of options. But all of their options, or for many, let me not say all, for many of these women, a good time is synonymous with thousands of dollars being spent, right? Trips abroad, overseas, into the Caribbean, thousands of dollars being spent. And they come to the table, they have their whole set of bills and expenses that they have covered. But they want you to come in to cover theirs because, you know, you're a traditional man, right? So you should be. What's going on, Hashim? Shabazz, what's up? What it do? So what happens is you come into this relationship and it's a money drain. And that's, I'm not talking about all women, but many. And we all know the story because they say, well, not all women. The exception is not the rule. Because most of the time we're paying attention now. Men have woken up. And we see the comments, we see the posts and what they say. They want you to pay their bills. You know, the nails and the hair and all of this stuff costs money. And they act like they're spending $1,000 on all of these beauty tips for just you. When they're going out, statistically shows 30% of them are going out on a date and they have no intention of sleeping with the man or attracted to him. They're just going for a free meal. So is all that $1,000 you spent on your hair, outfit, nails, is that really for me? Or is it going to be divided among 7 guys that week? So in actuality, you're only spending $100 to get pretty for a date when really and truly, I'd be happy with a cheap $10 dress out of Walmart, a nice bodycon skin tight dress and some dang heels. You ain't got to spend money on that. You doing that to impress other women. But back to the point. Thank you, Hashim. Like and share. But back to the point. at issue is this is about they become a financial liability. And it's always money going out that takes you off your purpose. And in doing so, you cannot achieve your dream. And when you can't achieve your dream, then later on, you're not prepared for retirement and they're ready to bounce, leave you onto the next one after they have spoiled you. Next, number 4, alienation. Should you by chance decide to be with this modern woman and conceive a child, more likely than not, you will be alienated. Interesting statistic. 10% of divorces have amiable relationships, meaning, hey, how you doing, John? I'm doing well, Mary. Good to see you again. Things are great. Yeah, I'm happy. Hey, thanks for, dropping off the extra outfit for him. It went great, and volunteering to keep him for me next week. Billy and I are going on a date, and we really appreciate you giving us a date night. Oh, no problem, Mary. That's what that 10% looks like. Then there's another 15% that it's just the order. It says that you're supposed to pick him up on the weekend. We don't have contact. Hello, Mary. Hello, John. That's all you're required to say. Great. Hey, little Billy, let's go. Or, sorry, Billy was the boyfriend, so. Hey, little Jack, let's go. Okay. I'll have him back next week, Friday. That's it. That's 10%. That's considered moderate. Then, the other 70%, 75%, toxic. It's hell. It's liabilities. It's court. It's police. It's false charges. It's snooping, sneaking. It's everything. It's telling the child negative stuff about you. It's hell. It's a bitter baby mama central. 70% of the breakups are like that. Again. And then what does she use as a weapon? And the number 4 is closely related to number 5. She uses the children as a weapon. As opposed to, hey, when we were together, we both parented quite well. What's going on, Muhammad? Love your show, brother, man. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Alienation. So that we go ahead. You're not allowed to see your kid. Oh, you got a new girlfriend? Well, I think a brother I know, perfect example. Brother went over to, where did he go again? Ethiopia. Sent me some pictures. Whoo, I got to go to Ethiopia next year. Man, beautiful women. He sent some pictures back. He gets to a war of words with his ex-wife / baby mama. She's going back and forth. He's going back and forth with her. And she's like, oh, I see you posted about going to Africa with some girl. Do you just want somebody who won't listen? And somebody, no, not won't listen. You want somebody who is weak. And he was like, she's an engineer. And she has a master's. And she's gorgeous. And what did the baby mama ex-wife respond with? She said, I'm going to court. Child support. So, this brother clears quite a pretty penny. Look, he's a 1%er. The man makes over $200,000-$300,000 a year. Okay? That kind of money. That kind of brother. A black guy. Clearing over $200,000-$300,000, and her response was, child support. I'm getting it stepped up. Because they use the court as an arm of their anger and hurt to hurt you. It's not about the child. It's not about what's best for the child. It's about how to hurt you. And financial, at the end of the day, all of those vows, the love, the exchanges, you're my king, all of that lying comes down to money and hurting you. And that, for that reason, is why over 80% of the people in jail come from single-parent households, because that mother was so bitter that she would rather destroy that child than go ahead and involve the father so that they can both co-parent and raise this child together. Yeah, she hating. She was hating. Okay, let's get to number 5, because I ain't gonna make this long. So number 5 goes into is a continuation of number 4. And here it is: depression and suicide. You're alienated from your kids. You can't see your little boy, your little girl. Women don't understand the silence. Let that keep quiet for a second. And you leave the home where you're used to hearing the pitter-patter of little feet and the kids and the arguing and all. There's always noise. When that man leaves that house and that first day you spend in a room with nothing, quiet, you don't hear nothing. But you know who you hear? You hear the devil talking to you. The devil's like, man, why don't you just go ahead? What did Mr. Muhammad said? He said, I got hurt at work, and my wife asked me to stay home and take care of the kids while she took a promotion. I was on workers' comp for 1.5 years, and she cheated on him with some bull at work. Worst decision of my life. Never put the wheel in her hand. I did the same thing too, Usa. I did the same thing. I was over the road working, had a trucking business, 5 different trucks. She sent me a video. I saw a video of my son walking. I missed his first steps. It was like, you should never miss that a moment again. And I agreed, I should never miss that again. I want to be there for it. My firstborn, my son. So she said, you need to come off the road and bring the business home. And I said, if I do that, it's going to kill the business. She said, you need to come home or you won't have a family. I came home. The business died. I suffered financially. And basically stayed home to watch the kids and work while she did. And now she's making over $200,000 a year. And now she don't need no man. Of course, that's how it goes, brothers. That's how it goes. But back to depression and suicide. So you get alienated from your children. Now this statistic is full of suspect. And the statistic is this. There was a man at a men's conference. I read a statistic off that said every week 21 men commit suicide from alienation or not being allowed to see their kids. Every week. He said 21 men. Now we're talking about 3 men a day or every 8 hours. A man in America is taking his own life every 8 hours. Now, the statistic has been checked, and they said that they could find no evidence, of course, because women are free to say that what they do, and they find the statistics for that. Because of course, to be fair, somebody kills himself, no woman is going to admit that, I was being bitter and ugly and alienated the man from his child. And most men hold their pain internally and don't divulge that. But when you go see his apartment and it's just a bed on the floor or some blankets and a TV and a chair, he's lost everything, including his family. The lies upon lies in the court, and now all he is an ATM to pay child support at 70-80% with supervised visits every other weekend because of the lies and deceit that was told in court. Because that's what these women do. They ask for supervised visits every other week, knowing it's going to cost you to have supervised visitation. Because they just want to destroy you. They hate you. Right? So rather than, hey, why am I spending all this money? This could go into a fund for the child. No, I don't want you to see your child. But when a week before, you had no problem leaving you with the child, right? But now all of a sudden, you're a danger to the child. Hashem, she hates the father more than she loves the child. This is true. This is true. And it's sad. Listening, Brandon Edens from Deerfield Beach, Florida. Hello, what's going on, Brandon? So we're at the depression, suicide. I've been there. Man, as I was saying before I read what Usa wrote, man, you in that place by yourself. It's quiet. But you can hear the devil. And he's saying, man, why don't you just get it over with? You don't hear nothing else, but you hear him. I can't believe how, man, you were so good, man. Everything was going so great. And look at you now. Just look at you. The devil's torturous, man. Brutal with it. You just sitting there. You had all of this furniture and all this, and all you got now is a TV. Shoot. The first night I didn't have a TV. I was watching Netflix on my phone. I was watching Netflix on my phone. I had to go get my mattress the next day. I signed, gave them first the security for the apartment. I was in my truck, starting all over. But everybody else was sitting up in the house. You know, women don't know what it's like to not hear anything, to hear that silence. Might be a bit more appreciative and understanding how hard it is on men. But because we've been stereotyped as the stronger, harder, tougher vessel, they say that men don't have feelings, right? These women say they want men that are emotionally connected and emotionally available. But they spoil these men because these men kill themselves. So what are you talking about that you need a man that's emotionally available? Dudes are killing themselves, 3 of them a day. Oh, back to clarifying the fact. So, and if you fact check it, it says there's no data to suggest that men are killing themselves because they're upset. But if you were to say that they're killing themselves because after a relationship, then they're willing to accept it. It's the same damn thing. The relationship failed. They're alienated from their child. They can't see their kid. They still love this woman. She initiated a divorce. It's over. Not only have I lost access to my kids, but I lost access to my children. And wait, there's more. Because if you mess around and she had kids with another man, and you did this with a single mom, so those children that she had, the 1, 2, 3 kids that she has, plus yours, you formed a relationship with them. And she said, oh, what's going on, Lamar Scott? And she said, you said, I'm going to treat these children like my own. And you took them out to games. You spent money, again, back to liabilities. You spent money on them. Children, you took money out of your purpose and your future and put it into another man's DNA. Whew. You built somebody else's purpose, somebody else's generations. Thanks, sucker. So you did all of that. And now you're alienated from them children because then you ain't got paper on them. Right? And your own. And then them kids are telling your child negative stuff about you. He ain't nothing. He ain't, he's just like everyone else. He's just gonna leave. We love you, not. Now you got voices speaking to your child. And I know a cat like that. I know a cat right now. This man adopted the child from 1 year old. Had another child with the woman, going through divorce now. Because he adopted that child that's not his biological child, he has to pay child support on that child. And that child hates him. He don't like him. He won't have nothing to do with him. Child hates him, and you gotta pay child support on a kid that's not your blood and hates you. Jeez. Man, Muhammad, that's brutal. And that child is 10 years old, I think? So he got to pay child support for 8 years on a child that hates you, that's not your blood. And mind you, this ain't a brother that make like $50,000 a year. This is a brother that's clearing 200 G's a year. You understand that? He breaking off real bread because baby mama don't work. She ain't got no income. All of this to say, man, what Shabazz says, sometimes that's all you need. card table, 40-inch, and a blow-up bed, man. Once you could keep the devil from getting in your ear, there's a peace that's there, man. There's a peace. And these women have no idea what we go cold turkey when we do that. They think that, and they're just hurting you. And then what happens? You got these statistics that won't corroborate what we as men know is true. Because many men who have been in that situation, you've thought about it. I mean, maybe you're perfect and you're infallible. I didn't. I was like, my life is in ruins. I got to start all over again. From zero. I should have been a millionaire by now. I got to start all over again with child support. On my credit report. Preventing, it's showing up like a big car note. So it ruins my debt to income ratio on the amount of home I can afford. And don't let it get twisted. Depression and suicide. Just get back. Let me get into that child support a little bit more. You do pay child support, even if the child is not yours and you didn't adopt the child. Because I'll explain it for you real quick. In most states, there's an Excel spreadsheet that calculates the child support. You put her name, you put your name. What are the incomes of both? How many kids did you come into the relationship with? Oh, 0, but y'all got, she got 2, she got 3, right? You got 0, you got 1. So the court takes that into account, right? It's like, let's say you a brother with no kids, and you find some girl with 3 kids. She got 3 kids already, or even 1 kid already, and then you have 1 with her. Who's going to be paying the insurance? Oh, the father, the mother, who? Okay, so you get a credit. That's $300 a month for that. Then, who's going to have decision making or parenting time? Is it going to be 50-50? Because the courts are realizing they screwed up. All of these times that they made the women 70-30, what they're finding out in studies is that a biological father raising his child is similar results as a husband and wife raising a child together. But single mother, if she's raising a girl, 700% chance the girl gonna be pregnant by 18. Another 70% that child will be in jail. More likely to do drugs, more likely to be arrested. The list goes on and on and on and on when it's a single mother. You nip all of that in the bud when you got a father. So what the courts are doing now, realizing that the jails are loaded with people of single parent households, the jails are saying, nah, we're going to default to 50%. We got to keep these brothers involved. When I say brothers, I'm talking about all men. We got to keep these men involved in the child's life because it's better for society. Duh. But let's get back to the calculator, right? They use a spreadsheet. This ain't no judge trying to figure out who they're going to be better. It's all on an Excel spreadsheet. And they put both of the incomes in. And at the end of the day, what's interesting, if you play with the sheet, because you could download it, and I did. You put 0 under kids she came into the relationship, 0 for you, and do equal, and look at the number. You're like, oh, because she get 1 more day than me, I got to pay $20. Okay. You add 1 child for her, and that number jumps to $100. So, you understand where I'm going with this? You do pay child support if you are with a single mother and you have a kid with her. Even though it's only a punk $80, you still pay. And that's all this is about. The court still gives her credit for having the child that they don't give you, and you are billed for it. So indirectly, if you have a child with a single mother who has kids and you have one with her, if y'all break up indirectly, you're still paying child support to another man's DNA. Look for yourself. Whatever your state is, download the calculator. Download the Excel spreadsheet. See for yourself. I looked at it and was like, oh, I am paying for something that's not mine. for another man's seed, another man's legacy. That's where we at. So the depression and suicide, that's real. Now, the interesting thing is men recover from the depression, suicide quicker than women. They could recover within about 2 years. The women, it's after about 3 to 5 years that all of a sudden they start falling apart because they hit the wall. You enter your mid to late 30s, you're approaching 40, and you think it's hot girl summer, but you're competing with 25 and 28-year-olds at 40 years old. Because the man who's 40 can date a woman up to 55 down to 20. Women can date that age too, but ain't nobody gonna get down on one knee for you, baby. Ain't no man signing up for a woman with 2, 3, 4 kids. They're gonna come in there, smash and dash, puff, puff, and go. Hit it and quit it. Recreational use only, and keep it moving. And there are some that will go ahead, I love her, man. She's beautiful, and I just want to marry her. And they can't compete. They can't compete. And you see that poor fool announce that I found her, I love her, I'm gonna marry her. And I just look and I'm like, 3 to 5 years before, this brother is crushed. Say goodbye. She's going to spoil him. All that being said, we're talking about 5 things modern women do to spoil good men. Gentlemen, they're not spoiling these men. They're spoiling these men. And these men, after that, may not recover. Thank you, Laster. They may not recover financially. And they're destroyed. And then other women don't want to date them because they know what women do to men in court. That's why they don't want to date men with kids. It's vicious. But that's why they don't want to do it. They know some woman destroyed you and is in your pocket. And if she's better, and then of course that woman wants to see what your ex look like. And when she sees that your ex ain't all of that, she's like, oh, this woman's going to be mad. She's going to tear into him. And I'm not going to be able to go away with him on vacation because this woman's always going to be a thorn in my side, in our side. It's a brutal world out there, man. Men, but be careful because they intend to spoil you. That's why when we are here talking about dating modern women and more specifically single mothers, are there exceptions? Yes. 70% of the time, are you going to get your ass handed to you? Sorry, 80. Yes. You feel lucky? That's the show. Tune in next week. Hey, I need y'all to tell some of your friends, seriously, man. I need to get to this next point, this next end of the year. We need a push. Please share the link with some of your friends. Tell them, yo, check this brother out. Gordon Nathaniel, Toxic Reality Show. We bring in facts. And what I would love to do is to sit and focus on getting more content and data for you. Again, my dream is to, if I could do this full time and just be saving dudes from destruction, I'm not here just to air out and bash women, because guess what? We all want a fit, fine, feminine, friendly woman who submits to our authority, is on our program, bear our children, love us, respect us. That's what we want. So ladies that are listening, you're less than 10% of the audience. That's what we're asking for. Got no problem. Look, got no problem taking care of the whole house by myself. I got a brother that I know is making, a considerable amount of money. Got this big ass house. Do you need a big ass house? I did a show on this before. The show is now located here in Baltimore. You could buy a shell of a building, 3 stories, for what, 20 grand, 30 grand? And you fix that joker up while you working remotely, or you get a job nearby, and you fix it up, turn it into a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, with you working on it for a year, fixing it up yourself. After a year or two, you got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath that's yours. No note, all yours. Now, if you got some girl that want a 10,000 square foot mansion, that ain't for you. But if a woman is willing to submit to your program and move into a perfectly renovated 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath home with no mortgage because you got that covered, you're like, yeah, I can afford to cover and pay all the bills. Yeah, of course I can. Because I got my own house. It's because what we are doing is we're trying to keep up with the Joneses buying these $500,000, $1 million homes. When do you really need all that? Man, when I was a kid, I shared a bed with my big brother. My parents had a 3-bedroom house. How many bathrooms? They had them their own, and there was a full bathroom that everybody for the rest of the house. Sorry, and a half bath. And my grandma slept in the other bedroom. My brother and I shared a full-size bed. And we was in a middle-class neighborhood. Real talk. So you don't need all of that. If she can't submit to your program now, we ain't buying no new house. I own this one outright. We ain't selling nothing. Oh, you own it? It's in a trust. Yes, young lady, you'll never get your hands on it. But our kids will. But it's in a trust that you can't sue and divorce me and get it. So get that out your mind. But if you want to submit to my program, stay at home. You ain't got to work. I don't need your money to pay the mortgage. I got this. All you need to do is be fit, fine, feminine. Think of what dress you're going to put on when I come home from work, have dinner ready, and homeschool our children. Right? That's what we on. That's what we need to be about. So with that, don't let them spoil you. Don't let them ruin you. Stay up, Kings. Please share the word. And I'll see you next Sunday. Be there. Can't tell 2 friends. Have a good night.